The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's Marketing Clinic with your host, James McDonald.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea, and I'd like to start by welcoming, easy for you to say, welcoming our participants to our ad clinic session. And first of all, thanks to everybody that uploaded ads for us to take a look at. We've got some good ads to dissect here this morning, but also remember that we're also here to discuss any of your marketing questions. So any questions that you have about perhaps any of the unique selling propositions or running any ads or any questions that relate to lead generation, this is where we want to address those. And we can do that either through your working microphone, or you can obviously type your questions in the chat. And Andrea and I will work as a team here and monitor the chat questions and make sure that we're getting to those as quickly as we can throughout the webinar here this morning. So, Andrea, have we got some of our members that have written in some questions?
We don't. Deborah just is asking if we'd started yet. She couldn't hear anything, but I let her know on the chat that yes, we are live and in session and ready to start.
Yeah, we did have some technical issues with GoToWebinar. I think yesterday. Yes. There were some problems with that, so let me apologize, and that shouldn't happen again. They were, I guess, they were updating their system, and it caused phone lines not to work the way they were supposed to. So if you were on a computer, you were okay, but not on a phone line. Anyway, right. It created a bit of a mess, but it's all good now, right?
I believe so. We're encountering a little bit of issues, I believe, but I think it's going to be all cleared up within the next few minutes.
Okay. Okay, so Andrea, let me begin, before we start diving into the ads that we have here, let me begin by saying this. We have always discussed how important it is that you have diversity in your lead generation. In other words, if your leads are coming from multiple sources, you will always have consistency and predictability in all of the other areas that follow. And so what do I mean by that? I mean, if you have leads that are coming from diverse range of marketing efforts, marketing streams, then what happens is your lead conversion and all of the systems that you put in place after that, everything becomes more and more consistent. Whereas if all your leads are coming from one single source, then the leads from that source are typically kind of one-dimensional. And so here's what I'm going to suggest. The question that you might ask would be, okay, I want to have multiple streams of lead generation, of proactive lead generation. What should those multiple streams be? And I'm going to say this. The foundation of the lead generation system really revolves around 4 types of ads. Now, are there more? Yes, way more. But the foundation, where we're going to lay this whole thing from the very beginning, where we know that with anybody, regardless of whether it's day one in real estate or a 30-year top producing veteran, you're starting the lead generation system, laying this foundation that includes the following. You're running ads using Google, you're running ads using Facebook, and those are your primary online lead generation tools. Then you're doing editorial style ads in a local newspaper, print ads using a hotline, and finally, direct mail, preferably less branded direct mail that offers an area home sales report to a specific targeted area geographically in your marketplace. If you have those 4 things laying the foundation, then we can add as we go along. We can add to those things, but just those 4 things alone really do make the foundation, where we know that with those 4 things consistently and predictably, we can generate 2, 3, 4 leads a day from those things, and one day they may come more from one source versus another, but together, consistently and predictably, we can bank on generating 2 or 3 leads of good quality on a daily basis, thus giving you well over 1,000 prospects over the course of a year. Some are sellers, some are buyers, some are move-up buyers, some are first-time buyers, some are out of town, some are investors. It's diverse. Everything is about diversity. We've got lots of different leads, and that's what keeps everything consistent and predictable. So let me just repeat that again. As far as online, there are lots of things that you can do online. There are all kinds of other sources, but the foundation of the system, where you start, is with running ads effectively on Google, so that anybody doing a search on Google looking for real estate in your particular area, they're going to see your ad that offers properties that would be of interest to them. All right, so that means you need to get down the keyword search. What are prospects searching for? And you need to test what you're offering in the ad when prospects search for those keywords. What is it they're looking for? You can start by offering distressed sale, bank foreclosures, but you're going to evolve from there, and you're going to get a lot more specific as to what you're offering. Are you offering golf course properties? Are you offering homes at a particular price point? Prospects are using Google as a search tool looking for properties. When they enter whatever they're looking for, you want to make sure that you've got an ad that really captures what they are likely looking for. And we can generate a lead a day just from that alone. And many, many of our students generate far more than a lead a day from that Google search tool. Facebook is a great tool as well, especially offering online home evaluations, especially if you're very specific as to the audience that you're offering that information to. In other words, the more generic the offer is, the less attractive it is to any given prospect. So if you're here in Carlsbad and you're offering an online home evaluation to someone that lives in Carlsbad, first of all, it's going to come from a Carlsbad information source, and the information is going to be very much specific to a Carlsbad homeowner. And if you have all of those things in place, if you're specific in who the information is for, you can generate some really, really good leads very inexpensively with a very small budget using Facebook as another one of those foundational tools for lead generation. So Google and Facebook online, there's your foundation online. Print. Now, you can run classified ads, but it's very hit and miss, so it's definitely worthy of testing. But what is very consistent is a local newspaper, editorial style ads. Getting a local newspaper, a church newspaper, something really small, not a big daily paper, something that comes out once, twice a week kind of thing, and get an editorial ad in there. Something that says, you know, avoid these critical mistakes when selling your Carlsbad home this year. You have an ad, you have a headline, an article in the paper, and with your hotline, you're going to generate 10 or 12 leads from sellers that are planning on selling their home. It's an absolute no-brainer, and the ads are relatively inexpensive. You run them once a week, maybe once every other week, and we can really fill our funnel with future sellers that no other realtor in the marketplace knows is selling it other than you. That's the advantage. You're packing your database with sellers that are going to be listing their home in the next 6 months, some of them in 90 days, some of them in 4 or 5 months, some of them maybe in 8 months, but you're loading your database every week. You're just loading it up with these sellers that are going to be listing their home, and you're the only one that knows about them. So you hit critical mass, and eventually they start coming to fruition, and all of your business is coming from those leads that you generated previously through these editorials. So do not discount the editorial style ads as being an awesome lead generation source to add in that diversity that we talked about. Okay, and then finally, direct mail. There is a degree of experimentation involved in testing with direct mail. However, you want to begin the testing by doing research and determining what are the geographical areas where there is the most turnover, where more homes sell more frequently than other areas. That's your targeted area. You don't want to target areas where people move on average every 50 years. You'd rather target areas where people move every 4 to 5 years. Target those areas, and then what you've got to test is the message. Does a message like, find out what your Glenway home is worth online, or does it need to be more specific? Your Glenway neighbor's homes your home is worth 11% more than it was last year. Find your home's value online today. you need to test different offers, but here's one thing that we want you to start with: less branded. If you make the direct mail piece about the salesperson, they will focus on a salesperson instead of the valuable information being offered, and you're less likely to receive response. So to begin with, when you're testing different direct mail to these high turnover areas, make it less branded. We're still going to disclose our information, but we're not going to promote the salesperson as much as what we're going to focus on is offering the great information. Okay, so I wanted to begin by talking about that because I felt like it was really, really important, especially for those of you who are, all within a few months of starting the program. What should your lead generation look like? Now, having said that, we're going to look at some Facebook ads and stuff like that, but we'll also look at some ads that are homemade. And here's the only thing I want to say about that. When you create your own marketing, understand all you have to do is copy what already exists. You really don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you create your own ad, it better be because you've already got in place the foundation of the lead generation system. And there are some of you that are guilty of that. You do not. I could say, well, are you running ads? Are you running editorial style ads? No. Then why are you inventing a print ad that isn't one of Craig's? That you would do that later. Remember the rule of thumb. You imitate before you innovate, not the other way around. Imitate first, then innovate. So I don't have a problem with critiquing an ad that you designed yourself, but it better be because you're supplementing your lead generation with, with more and newer ads as well, which is perfectly okay. Now, if you were to say, well, that's because, my other ads, they aren't pulling, they aren't working, then the solution isn't to create your own ads. The solution is to fix what isn't working. What we need to do is look at the ads that you're running, where you're running them, what they say, what the landing page looks like, all of these things. We need to look at all the variables and figure out, okay, well, how do we remedy so that you're generating the response that you deserve? All right, so having said that, let's take a look here at some of our ads that were uploaded here, Andrea. And first of all, Andrea, do we have any questions in the chat about anything that I've discussed so far?
We do. We have some hands raised also, so we can take a bunch of those now. We'll go with our first. Ellen asks, please give me some suggestions as to a headline for a Facebook ad for a listing in a 55+ community.
Okay, well, first of all, you know that any one single listing is going to be disqualified. Okay, so honestly, if the reason that you want to run that Facebook ad is to sell that property, it's not going to work. You're going to be very disappointed because no ad is going to sell your listing. If, on the other hand, your idea is, I want to run an ad that would attract buyers looking in a 55+ community, totally different story. Now we can run an ad that offers a free list of 55+ community properties that must sell, including golf course locations, all price ranges, free hot list with pictures. In other words, you want to find buyers that would be interested in all of the 55+ communities in your marketplace. And so let's just suggest that there are multiple 55+ communities. You're going to run an ad that offers a free list of all of the various 55+ communities, including all the great deals that absolutely must be sold. Now, with that ad, you're going to generate 10 to 1, 20 to 1 more buyers looking at a 55+ community than any one single property would. You're going to take those 20 buyers, they're all looking for a 55+ community, and you're going to promote your property to them. And the odds are far better if you've got 20 buyers that one of them would be interested than if you just run the ad and try to find a person interested. It is a more flawed approach. Okay, so remember, you figure out what is the buyer that I'm trying to attract? What are they looking for? They're not looking for that home. They're looking for a home. So what home are they looking for? What kind of home? Well, they'd be looking for a 55+ community home. All right, so let's run an ad that offers them all of the community 55+ area properties in all price ranges, including the must-sell great deals. And let's compel anybody who might be looking for a property like that to click on the ad and request that list of those properties. That is the angle that you want to take. Okay, next question.
Our next question from Daniel, and it's more of a comment, and I know Craig would like this one. He says, many sellers do not read the newspaper. It's mostly an older demographic.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, not everybody reads the paper. That is true. You know what? You will lie awake at night thinking about this, but you're never going to get everybody. We're just not going to get everybody. You know what? We're not even going to get most. We won't even get most. You know what we're going to get? Some. That's it. We're only ever going to get some. We must take comfort in knowing the reality is we're only ever going to get some of the thousands and thousands and thousands of buyers and sellers in your marketplace that are buying and selling real estate every year, every month, every week, every day. We're only going to get some of them. So fortunately, because we're only going to get some and we only need some, we don't need everybody to read the paper. We only need some. And of the some that read the paper, we only need some of them to be compelled to read and respond to the articles that we're running in there. That's all we're looking at. There might be 100,000 people in the marketplace, and there might be 1,500 of them that actually read the paper. And of those, maybe only 16 read your ad, and only 4 of them request the information. But those 4 people are doing it because they're selling their home. And if you get 2 of them and you make $40,000 off of those 2 sales in commissions, you're pretty damn happy. It doesn't take much to make it really, really worthwhile. Listen, here's what we find. Demographically, you're correct. An older demographics would be more likely to read and respond. Not only that, but they would be likely to respond very early in the process, well before they're ready to list their home for sale. I want you to look at that not as a disadvantage, but a huge advantage. That's a really good thing. And it's good because it means that they are letting you know we're going to be selling our home in the next 5 months, in the next 6 months, in the next 8 months. We're going to be selling our home. And here's the deal. Because of the article that I read and responded to, you are notified that I am moving in the next 6 months. No other realtor in the marketplace knows that we're moving except for you. You're the only one who knows, because I haven't responded to a real estate ad. We're not there yet. We're 8 months away. So what that means is you now have the opportunity to drip information, follow up and drip information on these prospects, and establish yourself as their realtor before any other realtor has a clue that they're going to be selling their home. It's a tremendous advantage. You don't need everybody. You need a handful. And every time you run the ad, if you can generate a half a dozen or a dozen different responses, which is very typical, by the way, from these editorials, it's very more than well worth your while. So, you know, I'm not disagreeing with your assessment. What I would disagree with is that it's worthwhile. Of course, it's very, very worthwhile, and the math really plays out. Okay, thanks for that one, Andrea.
Another question, Michelle would like to know, is there a particular ad to place for right now business, something that can get things going in the next 30 days?
Yes, lists of properties. Okay, so for example, you want to have, we talked about the foundation online, Google Ads. You want to run an ad that would offer lists of properties in high demand first-time homebuyer type neighborhoods or price ranges that are very, very popular. Free list of homes in a high demand price range. Here's what you're looking for. You're looking for buyers that are shopping for a property. That's what you're looking for. Buyers who are shopping for a property. Okay, now they go online. There are all kinds of different websites that they might look at. The bottom line is this. You want to offer the kinds of properties that buyer would be looking for. Very likely they'd be looking in different areas, so you can target areas, run an ad that offers areas of property, and they're likely looking at certain price ranges. right? So establish what that price range is and offer a free list of great deals starting from, you know, $279.9 to $380. Right? That if that's the high demand, high turnover price point that is in demand, then any buyer that responds to that is looking for that high demand, high turnover property. You can obviously attract more because you're offering what is in demand, but if that's where the turnover is, then that's where the inventory is as well. You're increasing your likeliness of putting together a deal. But I think Google's a good place to start for something like that. Obviously, there are other sources as well, but prospects, you know, when you, just like everybody, when you go on your computer, you've got the bar at the top of the page and you just put in what you're looking for. You know, we don't even put www anymore if we're looking for a website. Just type in what you're looking for. You know what, you know you're going to find it. So we've become accustomed to doing that on our phones. You just open up your browser and just type what you're looking for, and there it is. So if we know that prospects are searching for homes for sale and they keyword an area or a type of property, right, then we want to make sure that we have ads that are present that offer them the kinds of properties that would be in high demand. That's a great place to start. Facebook is another place as well where, you know, a huge percentage of adults are on Facebook throughout the day. And if we know that we can select the demographic that we're looking for that would represent maybe a first-time home buyer, anyone in their 30s, let's call it, and it offers a free list of properties available with low down payments, you know, that carry for less than rent, townhomes, condos, free access to must-sell deals. That's an ad that would get some clicks. And as long as we've got our web page set up effectively, we can generate some immediate business from a first-time home buyer responding to an ad like that. Like we're looking at one right now that's kind of interesting. This comes from Best Broward Homes. So if you live in Broward, then this is an information source. It's not sales, it's information oriented. Very, very good. And it says, first-time home buyers, stop renting and start building your wealth. Own a home for what you now pay in rent to get started. Okay, here's what I would rather. Instead of showing somebody the benefits of buying, buyers want houses. They want properties. They want homes. So you'd be better off saying, start building your wealth and own a home for what you pay in rent. Free list of first-time home buyer must-sell deals. Properties. Buyers want properties, not education, properties. Sellers want buyers. Buyers want properties. So offer buyers properties. You want to offer them a free list of first-time home buyer condos and townhomes that carry for less than rent. That would be a jackpot. But teaching them how to buy or teaching them why to buy isn't going to have near as much effect as offering them actual properties that carry for less than rent. Don't tell them about it. Give them the properties. That would be more compelling for them. I like this. Comes from Best Broward Homes. That's very, very good. And it's got the domain name, browardfirsttimebuyer.com, above, and you want to have it below as well. Above the post and below the post as well. So that's something that's pretty good. But again, yeah, that's my suggestion here. And hey, you know what? You're testing it, so let's see what happens when you test it. But a free list of properties will almost always pull more and better than a free report or how to do something. Just give them what they're looking for. Ad number 2. Yes, indeed. This is our ad.
And I
like the paid advertising is below the border at the bottom right, which is great. I mean, it's not seen. Even if your paper requires advertisement, put it in there. The bottom line is people scan headlines. So as long as your headline, is prevalent, that people scan headlines, and so they're going to read. Don't pay another cent in rent to your landlord before you read this free special report. What you want to do is put in the area. Like it might say Broward buyers, right? Broward first-time buyers, don't pay another cent in rent to your landlord before you read this free special report, right? When you're running an editorial ad, you are only offering a free special report, but you want to make it specific in the headline, really call out to the audience. And if it's Broward County first-time buyers, then say so. It will work better. And get it surrounded by articles. And yes, I'd like to see what this looks like in the local newspaper, surrounded by other news articles in the local paper. Sorry, was there something you were going to add, Andrea?
No, you caught on. I believe they were just looking for if you thought the placement of advertisement was okay.
Really
I,
good. Yes, that's as best as good as it's going to get.
um,
You
I,
won't do.
we have a few questions about editorial, so before we move on, I thought I could address those while we're looking at one, if that's okay with you.
Let's do it.
Okay, Harry Kimbrough's asking, in the editorials, do we run a domain and a hotline number?
You know what? I think what you're going to find is going to be superior is just a hotline. Okay, this is what we've always found over and over again. We find that using a hotline in an editorial ad works better than a domain name. And the reason is what we find is when it's a print ad like this, the prospect, if they're going to visit a domain name, they're going onto their computer and they expect to read the report when they enter the domain name. And of course, when they can't, when they have to enter their information to receive it, they leave. So in other words, we might get you might get 20 prospects that visit the domain name and 0 of the 20 request the report. But watch this. When you use a hotline, you might get 20 that call into the hotline, but out of those 20, most of them leave a message. Because think about it. The only reason you would call into the hotline is to request the report. It's not to look at it. You know you can't see anything over a hotline. So if you take action and you pick up that phone, the only reason you're doing it is to request the report, leaving a message. So a huge percentage do. Now those become leads that we can follow up with. So I would start with that.
And our next question, I might need some clarification from Gary. He says, we're working on our first editorial ad for Find Your Home's Value, and there's not a hotline recording for this. We wanted to use a domain name and a hotline in the ad. So
okay. So the one you're looking for is Area Home Sales Report. It's called Find Out What the Home Down the Street Sold For. And I believe it's branded. That hotline script is a branded one, because obviously, I need to look at that. There is a hotline script for it. For Home Down the Street. Am I wrong about that, Andrea?
Well, my confusion was it's an editorial, and I didn't realize we had editorials.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no. You're not going to do an editorial for an online evaluation.
That's why I was thinking maybe we needed clarification. Maybe
remember this: when you're doing an editorial style ad, you're offering a free special report with information. It's the only forum where it is appropriate to offer information in that kind of format, a free special report. Don't do it in a classified ad. Don't do it in a Facebook ad. You know, if you're going to offer a free special report, that kind of information, do it in an editorial style ad. If you're going to offer an online home evaluation, do not do that as an editorial style. That's not an article, right? You would do that as direct mail or as a branded ad. If you're going to do that in the newspaper, you could do something like that. But reserve the editorial ads. If you're going to run an editorial, offer a free special report. It will work better. It will generate more sellers, and that's obviously the reason you're doing it. So if you want to generate sellers, run an ad that says, avoid these critical mistakes when selling your Broward home. Free special report reveals, what to do. That will yield you more response, prospects picking up the phone and requesting the report. When they request the report, you're going to follow up with them and let them know that you received and sent their request. Is that okay? By the way, you're thinking about making a move in the next few months. It's a better process for generating seller prospects than offering them an evaluation in an editorial style ad. Okay, we've tested it, and and you will find the same thing as well.
Okay, so we can go on to ad number 3.
Okay, so might have to scroll up a little bit so I can see this properly, Andrea. Find out what homes in Willowdale are selling for. Free service for Willowdale homeowners. What campaign is best to print on the other side? Oh, that's their question. Okay, so this is a direct mail postcard. We know that. That's good. I would do the online home evaluation. I would do the same offer. So let me see that again. Okay, so this one says, find out what homes in Willowdale are selling for. Free service for Willowdale homeowners. What if you had it say this on the other side? Your Willowdale home is worth more than you think. Find out online. Okay? Find out online. I wanted to say in the headline online. See, because this one, this side is promoting the hotline, 24-hour recorded hotline. So the other side is going to promote online. It's going to say your Willowdale home. Find out what your Willowdale home is worth online, or your Willowdale home is worth more. Your Willowdale home may be worth more than you think. Find out online. But that word online, and I really like this format that you're looking at right here. Okay, find out what your Willowdale home is worth online. Free, quick online home evaluation. Visit www.willowdalehomevalues.com. So one side is hotline, the other side is web. That way you appeal to anybody and their preference. It's very good. I like that it says Willowdale. If you live in Willowdale and you receive that, it's going to be talking to you. All right, so what are we looking at here? Ads 4 and 5 are together. Are they, Andrea?
They are. They're from the same
Okay, so this
team.
is that newsletter? All right, very good. And this is a newsletter. Homeward Bound, the Goodale Realty Group. Okay, so here's what we want to look for in something like this. You want to look for specific real estate information, some stories of interest, but what I think is a real key ingredient with a good newsletter, obviously it's going to be branded. It's got to be branded. And if it's branded, it has to have a prominent, unique selling proposition. So yours is your home sold guaranteed. I don't really want to look at that page, the front.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay, so if it's going to be branded, which it absolutely is if it's a newsletter, then you need to be branded to a unique selling proposition. And you've got your home sold guaranteed or we'll buy it. I got to be honest with you. It's really hard to read that, and it doesn't stand out as much as it should. When it's written in that kind of writing, it makes it easy to miss, almost like it's a logo. Do you know what I mean? That looks almost like a logo than it does a statement of value. So, I don't know, you'll notice that in all of Craig's branded examples where he's promoting his guaranteed program, it's written in much easier to read font. And so, I don't know, I think you could still keep this, but have it maybe underneath your name, and then as a headline, have it say your home sold guaranteed or we'll buy it. Just clearer. Like right now, the Goodale Real Estate Group is more prominent than the guarantee, whereas you really want the guarantee to be most prominent and then the Goodale Realty Group associated with that, you know, sort of 50-50, and I don't see that right here. So it's important, you know, otherwise you're just another realtor as opposed to the realtor that will guarantee to sell your home or they'll buy it, which is obviously a huge advantage. Okay, now, the other thing that we want to look at is this. Give me a reason why every month that I receive this, I want to read this. There's something in here. Maybe it's statistical information. Maybe it's home inventory. Maybe it's a graph that shows me fluctuation in home prices. Something in here that is of value that I want to look at every month that I receive this. So in this one, you've got your FICO score distribution, which is interesting information, right? That's the kind of thing that we're talking about, is every month or every time you send out your newsletter, have some really good specific information like that. And anything that you do in a graph like this is really, friendly to your eyeballs, and it makes it very, very compelling. So it causes people to read the rest of it. Now, here's the other element that you want to have in there. What you want to have are what we refer to as direct response components. So throughout the newsletter, maybe you offer a free special report. Maybe there's in the corner you've got free quick over the net home evaluation, and you've got an online home evaluation. Distress sales, bank foreclosures, these homes must sell, free list with pics. You've got just a little ad in there that offers a free list of properties. You want to have direct response components trickled throughout the newsletter, so that prospects can be, that are reading the newsletter can be compelled to respond to various offers within it. So those are the components that you're looking for in a good newsletter. It's branded to you, which means it must prominently display a unique selling proposition. You've got to include really useful, specific information that would be compelling to somebody about them and their situation. So graphs are a great way to do that. I really like what you guys have done right here. And then you want to have direct response components sprinkled throughout the newsletter as well. And that's and that is really, really effective in sending something like this every month or on a regular basis to prospects that you've identified. I wouldn't use this as a tool, as a marketing tool. In other words, a direct mail tool. Don't use this for generating the lead in the first place. Use this as a lead follow-up for leads that you've already generated. Okay, so here's what I mean by that. Don't take a neighborhood and say, I'm going to send my newsletter every month to this neighborhood. No, generate the lead first. Use direct mail postcards. Generate the leads in the neighborhood first. Then, once you've generated the leads, then they receive the newsletter, is how it works. You're not sending the newsletter to generate the lead. You're sending out the newsletter to the leads that you've already generated. And that could be from any source. It could be from direct mail. It could be from editorial ads. It could be from any lead generation source at all. Once you identify a lead, as a follow-up tool, you're going to send them this really effective newsletter that establishes you as the provider of information and ultimately as their realtor. All right, good one.
Okay, hold on just one second. I'm sorry about that. Ad number 6, a just sold card. You cannot see it. Hold on one second. Let me refresh my screen. You should be able to see it in a few seconds.
Okay, just sold. So this is pretty good. Your home sold in 30 days guaranteed, or I'll sell it for free. I think again, I can tell you what Craig would not like is that the fancy calligraphy just sold. I know it's tempting to do that, but honestly, it isn't pleasing to the eyes to read. So just use a more traditional font so that if I'm sorting my mail, I'm only glancing at this. And I want that to be really, really prominent, that a home in the neighborhood just sold on Camille Circle. Now, you've got a USP here, and you've got a free quick online home evaluation. I would make that bigger. Make the online home evaluation offer bigger. Remember this, we want to give them a reason to respond. So I think that what you might do on a just sold is you might want to say, find out what's this area called? I'm trying to see. Doesn't really specify the area, but if it did, you want to say, find out what homes in your neighborhood are selling for online, right? In other words, this home just sold, and you want to know how much it sold for, or this particular home sold for $910. What did all the homes in the neighborhood? What have all the homes in the neighborhood sold for? Right? So your call to action would be, find out what homes in this neighborhood, or whatever neighborhood you're targeting, sold for online. You've already told them what this one sold for. Find out what all the homes in this neighborhood have sold for online. That would be a really good offer to make. That would make sense with a just sold direct mail piece. But I do like your guarantee. Your home sold in 30 days guaranteed or we'll sell it for free. And you've got a call to action, 30dayguarantee.com. Just a couple little things here that I would make more prominent the offer on the right-hand side. But this is very good. Instead of the free quick home evaluation, yeah, again, I would do find out what homes in your neighborhood are selling for online, or find out what homes in your neighborhood. Yeah, find out what homes in your neighborhood are selling for online. All the homes in your neighborhood, not just this one at 434 Camille Circle. All of them. I like that map, by the way. Okay, let's keep going. Ad number 7.
Ad number 7, and these are classified ads, and I was hoping that our member would be on in the chat to clarify a little about what they would like us to do.
Okay, well, I'll tell you this, first of all. A classified ad that says sell your home faster for top dollar, I wouldn't write that. Don't run an ad like that. If you're going to run a classified ad, offer properties. It's going to run under homes for sale, so 100% of the prospects going there are looking for a homes for sale. So if you don't offer homes for sale, you're not offering them what they're looking for. Offer them homes for sale. Just offer them great deals, offer them high demand areas, offer them high demand types of properties, offer high demand price ranges, offer them properties that are in high demand, and offer many of them. Free hot list of those properties, because that's what they're looking for. No one's going into the classifieds and looking under homes for sale to sell their home faster for top dollar. It's not going to generate the kind of response that a free list of properties would, because that's why they're going there looking. It'd be like this. Under cars for sale, what would you expect to find? Cars for sale. And what would be the reason one would look under cars for sale? Because they're looking for a car for sale. It's exactly the same thing. 99 out of 100 prospects are looking under homes for sale because they're looking for a homes for sale. So offer that. And if you do, and you offer great deals, and you offer high demand type properties, you'll find that you'll generate some really good leads from it, and it's duplicatable. You can do it over and over and over again. All right, let's take some more chat questions, Andrea.
Yes, let's do. We have a lot of them. We have Linda. I received my first lead from Google ad about 2 hours ago, and the number is ringing busy since then. If that's the case all day, not a real number, do you email them?
Yeah, absolutely. You can email them, and listen. Here's the reality. If you have other information for this prospect, like you have their name or you have an address, look it up. Look it up in an online directory. Go to whitepages.com, do a Google search for their address, and see if you can get a different phone number. Right? Maybe there is a phone number attached to that name or address that is different from the one that you have, preferably one that is correct. And if you do that, you know what? 50% of the time you'll get a different phone number. Now you can try them on that phone number. Listen, if you're doing a really outstanding job of calling your prospects back diligently, trying to see if there's other numbers, you still, even doing an amazing job, you will not talk to 25% of the leads you generate. You'll just never talk to them. They won't answer the phone. You will never be able to get a good number. Whatever it is, 25% of them you're just never ever going to talk to, and that's if you're doing a really, really good job. But what we want to make sure is we're doing everything we can to speak to the 75% of the prospects that we generate that do leave us contact information so that we can get a phone number. Because if we've got 4 prospects that we have a phone number for, of those 4 prospects, if we're diligent, we are going to speak to 3 of the 4. 1 of the 4 we're just never ever going to talk to, but 3 of the 4, eventually we're going to get them on the phone. Now that might require us looking at a different phone number. It might require us calling them, 10 times, but we're going to reach 3 out of the 4 prospects. Okay. Now, if you're going to send them an email, you know what? I mean, really all you want to do is you want to send them the link right back to the landing page and say, please, please, how do you want to word this? The gist of your email has to say this. Please accurately complete all fields to receive your requested information. And then have the link, and when they click on the link, it takes them right back to the landing page. In other words, what you're saying is this: try again. You didn't accurately leave information, so we can't send you what you wanted, right? Please accurately complete all fields to receive your requested information. And then in blue, you've got the www dot whatever the landing page is. In other words, try again. You're not getting, you need to accurately complete the fields required in order to receive the information you requested. Now, what will they do with that email? Well, 9 out of 10 will delete it and you'll never hear from them again. But 1 out of 10 might go back and they might complete the information, and now you've got a lead you can follow up with. Okay. Good.
Okay, our next question from Deborah. Would you recommend putting the sale price on a just sold postcard?
Yeah, but only if it's in tandem with, here's what this home sold for. Now find out what all area homes sold for online. Right? In other words, you might give them information about what one home sold for, but right beside that, the whole benefit would be you have an offer. Okay, let's say you live in an area called Highlands Ranch. You live in Highlands Ranch, and you sold a home in Highlands Ranch. It says just sold. This home in Highlands Ranch sold for $910,000. Then right beside it, it says find out what all your neighbor's Highland Ranch homes have sold for online. In other words, this is what one home sold for. What did all of the recent home sales, all the recent homes that have sold, find out what they sold for online? That's very, very compelling to offer that information. Because here's what is likely. If you live in Highlands Ranch, the specific home that just sold probably isn't just like yours. It might be bigger than yours or smaller than yours, in a different area than yours. It's a corner lot. It's got this. It doesn't have that. In other words, if you can get a list of all the homes in your neighborhood that have sold, you're going to find that more homes sold like yours that would be more accurate. So that would be a really, really good offer to make. And yes, you can give the price of that one single property, but only if you're also offering all of the homes that sold that they would have to respond to by visiting the website or calling into the hotline. All right, next question. Hello?
James,
Hello?
can you hear me?
I can, loud and
Okay.
clear.
Good. Mitzi's question was, when and where should you run branded ads?
When and where should you run branded ads? Okay, well, real estate publications, anything real estate specific. Anywhere where you are advertising your listings. Okay, so in other words, if you're doing a property display ad where you're advertising your property listings, they are associated to you. You're the one offering those listings. So that would be branded, and you would promote your unique selling proposition. That would be appropriate. You could do it in direct mail. Not all direct mail, but if you're promoting a USP, that is branded. So if you sent out a postcard that said, your home sold guaranteed or I'll sell it for free, that's branded. That would be branded to you. So a performance guarantee is always a branded message. Doesn't matter whether it's in print, direct mail. If it offers a guarantee, it is branded by nature. All right, so that would be another example. If you are advertising your on signage, branded. Okay, it's all branded. Outdoor advertising, branded. You're promoting a unique selling proposition, always branded. So I guess the rule of thumb is this. Anywhere where you are promoting a unique selling proposition like a performance guarantee of some kind, it is always branded. That might be in a real estate publication. It might be in a pullout section. It could be in a real estate magazine. It could be direct mail. It could be a newsletter publication. Anywhere you're advertising a unique selling proposition is branded. Good question.
Okay, our next question from Jennifer. We are not having any luck with Google pay-per-click. We did the first time home buyer campaign with Success website and have only received 3 leads in 8 days. Did we do something wrong?
Yes. I don't know what, but you did. Yes. We can look at what you're doing and we're going to have to tweak it. That's called normal. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, that's kind of harsh. You did something wrong. Here's the deal. What we have to do with the ads is we've got to tinker and change. There's so many different variables. When you ran the ad, what the ad said, what the landing page looked like. They're all the call to action, the domain name. There are all kinds of variables that make an ad more successful. So the idea is we run the ad, let's see what we get. Then we start changing the variables one at a time. We start tinkering and changing the ad, what it says, where it ran, when it ran, the landing page, and we either get a better result or a worse result. If we get a better result, good, we discovered something. Now we can move on and change the next thing. But, here's the bottom line. You did generate response. Read that again, Andrea, one more time. Hello?
I'm here. And unfortunately, I X'd out of the question as soon as I read it to allow for other questions. I'm so sorry, I cannot read it again.
Okay, well, there's my answer. Yes, you know what? You did generate response, but I bet you we could generate better response. It's just going to require us looking at the ad. Did you upload it to the ad clinic?
They did not.
Oh, you really do want to do that. Because if we look at it, then we can offer some suggestions. As you've heard, that's what we do here every Friday. We look at the ads. We suggest, here's what you might want to test next to see if we can yield a better response. Having said that, you did generate a response, so that's really an upside.
And it was three leads in 8 days that they received from that.
Yeah, we can definitely do better than that, but I mean, that's what we've got to build on, which is great.
Okay, we have an audio question from Paul Vacco. I'm going to go to open your line. Paul, go ahead.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Paul?
I have a general question. If there's a coach in the area that's really troubleshooted and gone through some of these trial and errors, why couldn't we work with them to get to that point if they've already figured out what works in the area?
Well, you can. I mean, if you want to know, if you call our office and you want to know who's in your area, you can certainly reach out to them. I mean, obviously it's up to them whether or not they're going to share, but we have found that our students, our membership is very generous in sharing what they're doing, and they're not guarded. So it would not hurt you at all to reach out to another student in the area that's using the system that's already made some of these discoveries and talk to them. So if you email our office, we will give you some people, if there are any in your area, and give you their name, and you can reach out to them on your own.
The other thing I see when I'm searching online as a prospect myself, just looking, trying to put myself in a buyer's shoes or a seller's shoes, I'm searching Google and I'm seeing that particular coach that is in my area. I see what they're doing. I don't see them using the success landing page. We do not have the IDX connection also in my area. Okay. So it's kind of getting a little, how do you direct somebody to an online when you say, hey, see what homes are worth in, this particular city online?
It just means you manually have to do it. It just means that they make the request and you have to manually respond to that lead by going onto your MLS and pulling off whatever they're looking for and emailing it to them.
But they would have to go to a landing page and then re-enter their information, and earlier you said that that's usually when they click off.
Well, no. There's a difference. If they're requesting a free special report, then the report is the same for everybody. But if they're looking for an online home evaluation, then it's specific to their home. So they are expecting to leave information on your website. Listen, if somebody wants to know the value of their home, they 100% expect to have to give information about their home. Think about it. It's unique to you. It's not a generic report. It's unique to you. You want to know the value of your home, you have to describe your home. So they're expecting when they get onto your website that they're going to have to leave information. That's what makes it unique. In your case, all that's going to happen is when they give information about their property and they hit submit, they're going to receive a pop-up that says, your information is being processed. You will receive it within the next 24 hours. You know, check your email inbox in the next 24 hours for this information. And then you, since you don't have IDX, you have to pull off an area home sales report of the recent homes that have sold and email them to the prospect. If you generate one every day, that means once a day you've got to go through this process.
That's not a problem.
Right. No, it's not. We're not talking about hundreds or dozens. We're talking about a couple a day at the most. That's all we're dealing with.
The only landing pages that I see that the particular coach that I'm keep showing up on Google is his own is basically a non-branded website.
Right, and that's why the prospect is more likely to give their information about their home, is because of the non-threatening environment that is created when we remove the salesperson.
No, I mean
right?
like a non-branded website that's like, you know, basically all listings that you see the pictures, a regular website with all the listings in the area, and then after you click on, say, one or two particular properties, then it asks for the lead, you know, it asks you to start an account and whatnot, and then I guess that's how that person is generating the lead.
Depends what they're offering. Right. I mean, if you're offering an online home evaluation, then you wouldn't send them to look at properties for sale. They're not looking for properties for sale. They want to know the value of their home. So, yes, that's apples and oranges. If what they're offering are properties, then yes, send them to look at properties. But remember, you have one website, but you can have an unlimited number of pages on the website. So one of the pages on their website offers an area home sales report of recent home sales. That would not allow them to search properties for sale. It would ask them to describe their property. If they were responding to an ad that said, access homes with pools, then it would send them to their website where they would be allowed to access homes with pools. That's the difference. If you don't have IDX, though, that it makes doing those searches, it means you just have to offer that information manually.
Okay, thank you.
But the same thing remains. Okay, watch this. If I say I'm interested in homes with pools, would it be reasonable when I got on the website that the website would say this? Well, what price range are you interested in? What, like any home with a pool? There's one for $14 million. Would you like that one? It has a pool. Like, that's utterly useless to you. There is an expectation built into the prospect that if the information they're looking for is specific to them, the expectation is you're going to have to describe what you are looking for. Now, doing that in a non-threatening environment without a realtor will work substantially better than if there is a realtor present with their picture and their logo staring at you. The prospect just leaves. They just leave. Whereas if you create a non-threatening environment, a page that focuses on the information, the prospect is far more likely to describe either their home or the home they're looking for. And that's all we want them to do.
Our next question from Eric. I have a listing. The sellers are expecting to see me advertise their property on Facebook. How do I handle this?
Do it. I mean, listen, you want to explain at the time of listing that your job is to attract buyers for their property. So let's say that they had a home with a pool. Okay? What you want to say is this: look, I run ads promoting your property listing. But your home, but my job is to attract as many buyers as possible for your home. Now, one of the great features of your property is it has a pool. And there are lots and lots of buyers looking for homes with pools. So in addition to advertising your specific property, I'm going to run ads that offer pool homes, free list of great properties with pools. And I know that every single buyer that responds to that ad is looking for a home with a pool. So if I generate 20 buyers and all of those buyers are looking for a home with a pool, and your home has a pool, then I've got 20 buyers that I can now show your home to, and they're all looking for a pool. So it becomes more likely that some of those buyers are going to really fall in love with your property. Make it a benefit that you're running ads like this. Don't think you're doing something wrong that they're not going to like. It's the opposite. The reason you're running these ads is because they generate buyers. Well, that's what they want you to do, is generate buyers. So I'm not suggesting you not advertise their property listing. You should. But in addition, you would be better served, as would your seller, if you also ran ads that offered many properties that had wide universal appeal. You'll generate more leads. More leads means more buyers, which is what the seller wants from you.
Okay, our next question. What percentage of ads should be branded versus non-branded?
Well, if you're starting off like 100%, as I said, the foundation of the lead generation system is less branded. That is where the bulk of your leads are going to come from. And then we're going to add to it. But you don't start with 50-50 branded, unbranded. You start with less branded. That's where we're going to generate leads. You know, online ads, they offer information. And the information that we're offering is more focused on by the prospect without the presence of a salesperson than with. The landing pages, the prospect is far more likely to ask for information in the absence of a real estate salesperson than with. So to begin with, a much higher percentage of your lead generation will be less branded than branded. But as you move along, it's going to be the opposite. Okay? As you move along and as you progress, you're going to be adding USP advertising, and that, of course, is branded. All right.
Okay, our next member, they're a newer member, and they had session 3 this week, and they're asking about the tracker that Craig's used on that session. And we do not actually have a template for that. You'll have to use an Excel spreadsheet and track it. And she's also asking, was it a success with tracking report? And it was not. It's something that Craig's assistant had come up with him, and I'll show you. You just go to session 3, Mastering Direct Response Lead Generation, and you just click on Craig's results, and then you can get an idea of how he formatted his tracking. But we don't have a template. You'll just have to go into Excel and make one that fits your needs.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, Andrea, let's take one last question before we wrap it up and everybody gets on with their day and ultimately their weekend.
Okay. We have a couple of questions asking about budget. What's the best budget to get the most leads? What are your suggestions on that?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously the bigger your budget is, the more opportunity you have. It stands to reason. But honestly, I don't think you need to start off with a very, very big budget. I mean, honestly, if you started off with a few $100s to spend every month, think about, you know, setting up $5 a day pay-per-click campaigns, maybe a $100 a week editorial ad, you know, direct mail using Every Door Direct. I mean, you know, for $150, you can send out a whole lot of direct mail. So I'm not suggesting you necessarily even need to do all of that all at once. But the point is that when your budget is small, it actually forces you to really hold your marketing accountable. Whereas when you're spending, you know, hundreds and hundreds or thousands of dollars on marketing, it's easier for lack of performance to sort of fall through the cracks. You know, it isn't held as accountable because you're probably generating a whole ton of leads because you're spending so much money. Problem is, some of what you're spending money on could be underperforming, but because in bulk you're generating so much, you may not be aware of what is working and what isn't. And so having a small budget can actually be an advantage in that it makes it very clear what is working and what is not working because you've only got a small budget. So, you know, obviously it's impossible to say, well, this is the dollar amount. Think about it. Anything locally is going to have a different cost to it. You know, and here's really what you want to consider is your lead conversion matters so much more than your budget. I mean, one conversion to a sale is worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that would pay for you to run Facebook campaigns for years. One deal. But If all you're doing is looking at lead generation as a cost, it's a cost. That means your expectations are that you don't make any money from that cost. All I do is I generate leads and they sit in my database and I never sell anything. Well, if that's the case, then yeah, you should not spend any money. The whole idea of this is that the prospects that are being generated have raised their hands. They've clearly identified by giving up their anonymity and asking for information, they're going to be buying or selling real estate. You don't need all of them to do business with you, but if any of them do business with you, a commission check worth $8,000, $10,000, $15,000, $30,000 pays for a whole lot of advertising for a whole long time. So the lead conversion is what makes what you spend irrelevant. If the lead conversion is no good, then you shouldn't spend anything because you get nowhere with everybody. It's a cost. If, on the other hand, your lead conversion is effective, then there is no amount of money you could spend that wouldn't be dwarfed by any single commission check. Think about it. Any single commission check will dwarf whatever you spend in lead generation. So, focusing on lead conversion, universal script, your presentations, all of these things, that is what matters far more than anything else. That's a really good question to finish up on, Andrea. I want to thank everybody for uploading your ads and for joining. Don't forget, this is something that really everybody wants to be doing, is uploading your ads. What we're looking at here is so really critically important. So, I would just encourage you to do that. When you're running an ad, let us take a look at it, whether you've already run it or whether you're about to run it. Send it in, upload it, let us take a look, and we'll offer our suggestions. Maybe it'll be perfect and we'll see what happens, or maybe we'll offer some suggestions right off the bat. But if you don't send it in, it's obviously hard for us to critique the ad and make these suggestions. And certainly if you're doing something that isn't yielding you the results you're looking for, don't keep doing it. Let us take a look at it and let's change something to get a different result. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And let's not forget to remind all of our members of our Monday morning helpline session that we'll be hosting every Monday at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. You're going to be registered for that here in the next hour or so, so be on the lookout for your email log on. And we hope to see you all there. Hope you all have a great weekend. This officially ends the webinar for today.